I feel like what they've done, which is smart, is that the problem that, for example, I run into is that I put out content and after I put it out, it gets bootlegged everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? It shows up all over TikTok. People do shorts on YouTube. It shows up on Twitter.
You were probably one of the original, like, let's bootleg his stuff guy, right?
Yeah, it's hard. It's like whack-a-mole. Like, you can't, I file copyright strikes, but you're not going to get it all, right? I feel like a majority of my views are coming on platforms that are not mine.
Mm-hmm.
But what the streamers have done is they get around that by like, yo, here's the live experience. You can't bootleg it. It's happening right now, and you got to tune in. It's a live show, and that's where the brilliance of it is. And shout out, man. I've never been that old man on the porch. I've always, Kai Cenat even hit me very early on and wanted an interview, and I said, sure. He just never responded, and then he ended up taking off afterwards. But, you know how me and you got down. Like, I reached out to you early. I reached out to Charlemagne early. I reached out to everybody very early, and this is why I have these kind of relationships and why I have the guests on my show.
Kai's a natural star. I seen it from the get-go. When I was watching it this morning, I was just like, and I said this to a couple artists. I interviewed Paul G, which we'll probably talk about a little bit later. I said, what Kai is doing, first of all, like, I know a little bit more about the behind the scenes, and it might just seem like a guy just getting up and just, they used to crap on streamers, be like, hey, you're just streaming from your mother's basement or your bedroom. This guy, he has like a multi-hour, sometimes 24-hour, it's SNL. It's SNL for kids. He gets people to do improv. They walk into his room, and whether they're dancing, reacting, he gets them to basically adopt to his character. It's not about necessarily what he asks, right? It's not about what he asks, right? Like,
it's the vibe.
Yeah. He's not gonna be like, hey, listen, you're in a beef with so-and-so, what's up? Like, that's not his thing. His thing is, hey, you're here. Yo, he had Nicki, and some people get at Nicki for sometimes doing things or being unlikable or coming across her. Nicki was so fun in that. When I seen Kevin Hart brought back a youthful exuberance, saying 24 hours, he was like the coolest uncle on the block. He was down with everything. Yo, let's do some dance, some pranks. Again, what he's done, and I've told him, I said, you revolutionize streaming, because I stream, but the way how I stream is like
solo.
Yeah. And it's not about just being solo. It's like I do like almost like a hip hop show.
Yeah.
But I'm still like, hey, I'm the orator, I'm the broadcaster, and people are listening. He is like so all over the place. Like, the guy was streaming from a U-Haul truck. So like,
yeah, Ice Spice show up.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like, what I've realized, and I give a lot of credit to you with this, is that, I remember early on when people, and I think that's when we all became cool, me, you, and Adam, and we realized we're the new BT, VH1, and MTV. And I think from there on out, nobody really looked at newer media and just instantly like, I don't get it, so it's whack. Because I don't think no one's really hated on Kai like that, but the reason why is because of platforms like us. Like, I think we were the first iterations of independent media who were doing it different, who weren't a radio station, not a traditional magazine. We're not Pitchfork, even though I would say they're not hip hop, but like, or like a Double XL magazine or like none of that. And it was just like, hey, what these guys are doing is some new stuff that is really changing the game. And when I see what Kai's doing, it's like, hey, the only conversation we can have is how much is hip hop versus how much is what he's doing. It has hip hop elements, right? Yeah. Like, I think what I do, like, I try to super focus on hip hop. Your interviews, for the most part, are always, pulling that elements within the story of hip hop.
Yeah.
Right? And with him, he's a kid that loves hip hop, and he's having the experience of a kid just, growing up, and hip hop is a part of it, and he showcases and highlights the best part of it. I think he's amazing, honestly.
I agree. And shout out to Lil Baby, because I remember years ago, he said, man, I think I want to sign some streamers. And I'm like, huh? Lo and behold, years later, he was onto something.
Yeah.
He was onto something. Lil Baby doesn't get the props he gets for being a brilliant business person.
Very,
From
very
Juice
smart.
WRLD to what's that white kid's name that he signed?
Kid Leroy.
Yeah, Kid Leroy is like,
Well, he's from the thing with Bibby is that, you know, I've always said Bibby, I don't even know how old he is, but like Bibby's one of those guys, he definitely came from the Chicago era, but he got like this old soul.
he's 30.
But he got an old soul in terms of he's not a guy who's thirsty for the camera anymore. Like,
no, not at all.
Yeah,
he doesn't even rap anymore.
exactly.
Yeah, but look, he's richer than all the rappers now.
He's a businessman, but does he have his finger on the pulse of the culture? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Years ago, I think people were starting to realize it. That hey, I can't remember exactly when it started, but I know it helped Logic a lot, and then I forgot who else it helped. They also helped Juice WRLD too, where a lot of these streamers were like just playing these guys' music.
Yeah.
And I remember at first, Twitch came to us, and you know I had to deal with Twitch at one time, and it was a music deal, and they basically were saying, hey, listen, so we're in this negotiation with like UMG, so you guys playing music, because I stream on Twitch. I do like a 30-minute segment, and it's music. I remember Twitch was basically saying, well, you know,
Yeah.
the labels are kind of saying, because also I used to do it on Thursdays, right before the new music comes out, and sometimes I'm getting exclusives. And they didn't know how to treat it then. And I think the music business was thinking, well, if this guy has like 20,000 people watching him, and he plays our new song, that's 20,000 streams we just missed out on.
Right.
Made sense, except they finally realized you don't F it up. And effing it up would be, that's promo. You have to, you can't think that every listen of your song should be monetizable, even though you want it to be. That's promo. He just introduced his song, your song, to 20,000 people.